Alright, good morning again. We are here with our third and final in this set of Frit beads. Again, pre-started core. I'm going to introduce it to the flame slowly. I know that it's quite hot. I can feel it on the mandrel, but it's not necessarily hot to the core, so I'm going to work it in slowly. Remember, when you do this, I find I always lean back a little bit because if this boy cracks, it's not just going to crack and stay on the mandrel, it's going to crack and pop. And these are good sized pieces of glass, and you don't want that in your lap. In your work studio, one of the things you should have is a wheeled chair. If your chair is stationary and your floor is carpeted and you can't move out of the way, you're setting yourself up for a good burn. You don't want carpeting in your studio. You don't want to get burned. Okay, so this is, as you can see, a bicolor bead. What I want to show you is a technique where you can put frit just in the middle and you can hide that bicolor. If you're using a transparent and an opaque and you blend it with the frit, very pretty, very attractive. For this, I'm going to use a bead mix called Capri. It's a non-reactive bead mix that I got from Donna Felkner. I love her bead colors. They're always so cheerful and happy. I'm heating just the center of the bead. I want it nice and hot. This particular frit is a coarse frit. It's got big grains and lots of color, so I need a lot of heat. Notice the transparent is getting warmer faster than the opaque, or the purple, which is also opaque. Different colors heat at different speeds. I'm going to roll in my pre-prepared line right up the middle. I want a lot of color, so I'm going to keep going till it'll stop picking it up. Here we go. I'm going to look at it. If anything is out of place, now is the time to pick it out of the way where it's still cold. There we go. The white part was hotter than the purple, so it misshapen. No big deal, it's okay. Now, I didn't get as much color as I wanted. That's alright. We're going to insurance heat the sides here. Get everything nice and warm. But I want to bring it back to a barrel shape before I add any more. Here we go. See, I can still see the line where the two join. So, I definitely want more frit. Keep in mind, some of the frit that's in this mix is not going to show up while it's hot. It's a lighter frit, like a beige, and some of it is transparent. So it will show up more once the bead has gone through the kiln and everything has cooled down. So you don't want to overdo, but you want to hide that line if this is what you're doing. Come on. I'm going to move in, get a little more heat. You don't want to get right in close to your candles. It's not good for your torch. It's not good for your bead. You'll find that you're going to start boiling your glass. You want to find the sweet spot in your torch. Every torch has one. You will work with yours and you will figure it out. If you're working on a hothead, you know what I'm talking about. I started on a hothead. I used that for several years, and I used Davardi glass. And I'll tell you, when you start on a hothead with Davardi glass, from that point on, you can work any glass. Any glass. If you are successful with that, it's like learning to drive an ancient car with a clutch that is just horrible. And if you can make that work, you can drive any car you ever meet for the rest of your life because you know how it works. So don't be afraid of Davardi glass. It is tricky. It is shocky. It is tough. But if you can master it, you got it. And that helps because they have a really fantastic palette. And surprisingly, the glasses get along with a lot of other glasses that you wouldn't expect. I can use a core of Davardi Clear and cover it with things like Sim, and lo and behold, they don't crack. I haven't figured that out yet, but there it is. Alright, I probably have enough color on here, but I want more. I like color. I'm going to move in. You don't want to burn out your color by being too close. If it turns white, you're losing your color. Now this is where, if you really wanted to do more of the swirls, this is kind of a fun place to do the swirls. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a funfetti look. Alright, now I've lost some of my shape because the Frit has added width to the center but not to the ends. So I'm going to soften my ends, and I'm going to push some of this glass out to the end to get my barrel shape back. Leave one side cool. That maintains the width and the shape that you want. And work the stuff in the middle out towards the edge. Here we go. Shaping is everything. Shaping takes practice. Unless you're really into organic beads and organic shapes, which, again, is okay. But I myself, I like a nicely shaped bead, but I also like things that look handmade. So here we go. Alright, we're going to let that cool down a little bit so that you can kind of see some of the colors coming out. There's yellows and peaches in there that I hope are showing up. I may be too close. But you can see how it blends one from the other. The Capri had purple in it, and that was the plan. Now, it's been out for a bit, so I want to make sure that before I put it in the kiln, you reheat it. You don't have to heat it to glowing, but I'm going to flame polish it. By flame polishing, what I mean is I am using the light from the torch, and I'm letting it shine on the bead, and I'm turning it to make sure nothing is sticking out, nothing is poking in, and I've got a nice, shiny glass surface. Right there, I've got a little bit of a bump. Heat it. Marver it. That's going to create chill marks. Polish it out again. And that's what you do to get the really pretty ones. Flame polishing and using the reflection of your flame. If you ever get into marbles, this is a skill you've got to have. Marbles, you don't want any kind of chill marks because it just ruins all your work. There we go. You want to make sure all the heat is out of it before you put it in your kiln or your fiber blanket. When I'm doing practice beads, I rarely put them in my kiln. I put them right into the fiber blanket. Reason for that is these are things I'm not making lots of, and I want to see them in 15-20 minutes. I want to look at them. And there we go. So that's it for my Frit tutorials this morning. If you have any questions, please let me know in the group, and I'm happy to show you. Thank you.